Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about why photography is easy. So I'm Daniel Norton, I'm a photographer here in New York, and I make videos like this about the philosophy of photography and also some technique videos and stuff. If you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, let's talk about it. So I was walking to the studio. I'm waiting now for my model, so I'm in the makeup area. You can see I got a beautiful light on me, right? I just noticed that there was so many people taking pictures. And whenever you're out and about these days, I've just noticed more and more that everywhere you go, everybody's taking pictures, and mostly with their phones, you know. But the reality is that it's so much easier now to be able to get, I'm going to say, a competently exposed, we'll use that as a basis, photo. And also, the expense is low because most people have some kind of a phone, and most phones take pictures. And with no processing fees for film, you know, and the things like Facebook and Instagram and stuff where you can put the photos that don't cost you anything, so no place to store it really, you know. You could just have a phone and be shooting pictures all day long and never have a computer, never have storage, never have whatever. And just that entry point into just being able to make photos is so low that it makes it so much easier to do. And there's this common thing where it's like a joke, I guess, or whatever. The photographers often say, well, I became a photographer because I couldn't draw, you know, or couldn't paint or whatever, you know. And right, the idea is that you want to create, right, but you don't have this other skill set that allows you to do it. So in that case, painting or drawing or whatever. And you know, it was, I guess, maybe more of a joke then because photography, when I was a kid, because photography was pretty technical. And if you handed somebody a 35 millimeter film camera and they didn't know what they were doing, they're very likely to take pictures that are, you know, out of focus, wrong exposure, just bad overall, right? And then there's also the idea of, especially if you process your own film, of screwing it up at that end. With the advent of digital, right, people were able to really experience and get into shooting that couldn't have done it before, didn't want to take the time to learn how to do it before properly. And before you think I'm about to go the other way, I'm going to go the way maybe you don't suspect. I think that's awesome. I think that the idea that everybody's like, well, everybody's a photographer now, everybody's this, and they're bitching about it. Too bad. That's amazing, right? I think that opening this craft or this art, this way of expression to more people is just fantastic. And I think that it really, really helps everybody, because more people that are involved, the more the craft will grow, the more the ideas will flourish. Because if you just have the same people doing the same thing all the time, everybody's just repeating each other and just doing the same thing, the thing that's right. And that's not at all basically how we grow, right? We grow by pushing beyond what the barriers are, and the more people that are pushing at the barrier, the more the barrier will move, right? Because we're all in it together, kind of pushing forward. And these people that don't want to learn let's say, the technical stuff, which probably isn't you if you're watching this, because you're probably on my channel, which is a little more technical, but maybe they don't want to learn it at first, right? They can still be creative. So I remember when I was I don't know, maybe in my late, I'll say I was probably in college, so I was probably in my early 20s, and I was fascinated, which I still am when I can get it, with instant film. I thought just the idea of this partially because I'm lazy a little bit, I guess, and I just got the finished picture, but I like the idea of how you created this physical thing on the spot that was, you know, not easily anyways duplicated, and really it was a unique thing. You know, if you were taking a photo with a Polaroid, you know, you could take two so that your friend could have one too, but if you just took one, there was just that one Polaroid, right? It wasn't even as easy as it is now. People pick up their phone and just take a picture of the instant, you know, shot, but it's scanners are more common. I mean, that just wasn't there, right? People weren't able to copy them the way they are now. In fact, we used to literally take 2 or 3 when we did a group shot so people could have shots. So I used to always keep around some kind of Polaroid cameras, and I had this one that was really cool. It was a little tiny camera, and it shot these little baby, and I think eventually they made stickers out of them, but they were little tiny Polaroids, and I used to just keep it. It was just a fun camera I always had with me, and whenever I would encounter children, like cousins and nieces and nephews that were young, you know, I would always take a picture of them and show them, and then inevitably they would always want to try it, and I would give them the camera and let them shoot with it. I mean, even though it cost me $1 a shot or whatever it was, you know, other adults would be like, "Oh, don't do that, they're gonna break it." But no, I don't care. Okay, so they break the camera. Yeah, it's not like that I had all the money in the world to just buy new cameras if they broke, but you know, risk versus a reward, right? Okay, somebody might break the camera, one of the kids, but the reward that we're going to get here is that they're going to see that they can be creative and do things with this camera, and they loved getting that tactile picture and keeping it and being like, I made this. Were they always the greatest pictures in the world? No, right? But that camera, had a little flash on it. It was all automatic. So basically it was like fixed focus, it was like you could almost not screw it up. So they got something when they did it. They didn't shoot a picture and it was a black frame and they didn't have to wait a week to get the film back or whatever. And it wasn't super costly when you think about it. If a pack of film cost $10 for 10 shots, to buy a roll of film and have it processed was probably that much too, right? So it wasn't like you're spending way more money to shoot this. And it just gave them that ability to just like create and get to be part of it. They weren't just sitting there being, oh, I have to smile for the camera because my parents, whatever. It was like they got to be creative. And I think that's what phones and inexpensive cameras are doing for us. And this is also true more and more, I think, in the video end of it. It happened, a while back, I would say I mean, I'm going to say probably with like maybe around the time of the first iPhone, which is maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago. I don't know when that came out. That's when phones cameras started to get decent. I mean, the first iPhone camera was not good, but, compared to what our standards are now. But other companies came out with camera phones, and then the iPhone camera got better and better. And, people just had a great camera in their pocket, and that allowed more and more people to shoot. And that's why I think, I don't know this because I don't have stats or whatever, but I think more and more people are less likely to buy better cameras than like little point and shoot cameras, because they don't need a point and shoot. Their phone is probably as good as a lot of these point and shoot cameras, and it's much more convenient, right? So now they're buying slightly better cameras when they decide they want to be more involved in photography. And because of that, they're going to then have more options available and the ability to create more types of pictures, and they're just going to explore and get better at it. So I think that while photography is easy to get into, it's hard to master, right? That's one of those things. It's kind of like, I think of it like, not great, but I play the guitar a little bit, and people say you play the guitar, but like compared to somebody who really plays the guitar, not really, right? Because the guitar is one of those things that you can learn 3 or 4 chords, and if you have half a decent rhythm, you can play a few songs. I could sit down in an afternoon with somebody and they could walk away playing a couple of songs, because the guitar is pretty easy to just get a taste of it and to be able to create something, right? Or play and enjoy. To get really good at it requires lots of practice and knowing things and getting beyond. And that makes it one of those great like instruments to try when you're first learning, right? And there's lots of videos on YouTube, you probably find them, where like somebody just plays like 3 chords and they sing like a billion different songs, basically just kind of making it work. That's the kind of thing a guitar is, right? And I think that's what our kind of more instant type cameras are, or like our phones or our more automatic modes. Those are the things that we can get into and just make it work, right? I can put my camera in aperture priority or programmed automatic, and I can go out and shoot all kinds of pictures and they'll be pretty good, right? But when I want to step it up to that next level, I'm going to go, whatever, to shoot manual, or I'm going to shoot, use lighting, which I would say is the thing you really should do. That's how you make it that next level that's beyond, right? But if it wasn't easy to start, I think a lot of people would not get into it. The people that start just by using their phones and then become really great and involved photographers is huge, I'm sure. I talked to tons of people, and well, my first camera, and I started taking pictures with my phone. And yeah, man, it's amazing. And I love that photography is one of those art forms that is easy to step into. Not easy to master, easy to step into. If we embrace the newcomers, the people that are trying to learn, as people that are out there as photographers, we're only going to make the craft better. Looking at people, looking down your nose at them and being like, oh, they use a phone. That's the wrong attitude to have. It's like, embrace what they have, help them, talk to them, when they ask you questions and they want to learn, don't be like, oh, well, you're not a real photographer because you don't have, explain to them, pass on the knowledge that you have as to why they might want a different kind of camera or a different way of working or whatever. And then we'll only all get better. So that was what I was thinking as I was waiting for them all to come, kind of random. But anyways, if you guys have not subscribed already, please do, and ring the bell so you get the notifications. I put videos out like this, every week. Hopefully, I'm doing a few more shooting videos, so I know I've asked questions, and then it takes me a while to kind of get to it. So I am doing more videos on products, grip and stuff, because I get a lot of questions about that. I'm doing more shooting videos, so you'll get those mixed in as well. But I will not, don't worry, fear not, I will not stop doing these as long as I have something to say. I'll keep on saying it, and I'll see you next time.